Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hi, queer. Happy Pride Month. Welcome. It's so good to be with you today and to just spend some time with you. I just love you so much. So happy Pride Month again. And I'm just thrilled to announce the very first challenge ever of the podcast today. You read it. You saw the title. Today, I'm announcing the Queer Intimacy Challenge. Oh my goodness. Y'all are going to love this. And maybe we'll do more challenges in the future. I don't know. I think you're going to enjoy this so much. It's going to be so useful and exciting and thrilling and terrifying and all the things. But I know one thing for sure, that at the end of the next 30 days, or possibly less, you are going to be so happy with yourself. You are going to feel so proud of yourself, and you are going to feel a hell of a lot more confident. So let's get into it. What? Oh, first off, you've noticed I'm putting the rest of the Big Move series on hold until July. So we'll come back to that. Don't worry. I have one episode that's still recorded on the road and here when I got here, and then a part 5 that is just kind of reflections of the insane month of May. And lots of gold nuggets in there for you. Lots of amazing life lessons. But I think what is going to be so fun this month is I have some very relevant Pride episodes planned for you, starting with this one. And you're going to just absolutely love those. So we'll get back to the move. Here we go. Let's dive into it, shall we? So first off, the reason that I wanted to do this challenge is because Pride Month is just, obviously a big celebration of who we are as LGBTQIA plus people, but it's also about more than just the labels in our community. What it's really about, in my opinion, is the stories that make them up. And those stories are you as an individual and the others in the community, their individual stories that make you who you are. And I think that this month is so fun for celebrating those who have gone before us and the history and everything of our community, and where we're headed, and celebrating and taking a breath, because a lot of the queer community tends to be, I don't know, I just kind of get this general census of like struggle, right? Like that's the general story, is the struggle. And this is a really awesome time to just pause and reflect and celebrate and be your full, beautiful, amazing, authentic, queer plus self. So the challenge. The challenge is, this is the heart of it, okay? And then I'll give you some details about it. But the challenge is to talk with another person about their story. The purpose of the challenge is to see others on a deeper level and to be seen on a deeper level. Thus the name intimacy, right? So the goal here is to talk with someone about who they are, what's important to them. Find out something more than just, hey, how are you? Or, oh, you're queer too. Great. Maybe find out their story. How did they come to terms with their queer identity? We all have a really fascinating and interesting story. I have never met a queer person that had a boring story. It's seriously always so interesting. To find out maybe something like a hobby or an interest that they have, plans for their future. anything beyond just the surface level. Hi, how are you? What's your name? What do you do? Right? We're going deeper here. If you do ask someone, what do they do? Ask them why, right? Why did you get into that? And allow yourself to share about you. Look, our community is kind of known for keeping things surface level and shallow. And what I think is so amazing and exciting about you and I right here is that that's not us. We desire to be full, complete humans, sharing and seeing each other for who we are. We are here because we have depth to us that is interesting, that we want to explore, and we see the world in a way that has lots of vibrancy and layers to it. And so let's start a wave in our community of just that, of caring about each other for more than just the surface level, hot bodies, partying, whatever the instant gratification is that you can get from another human. Instead, let's put in a little more time, a little more effort into getting to know each other and to allowing ourselves to be seen. Both will boost your confidence. So I announced this challenge in my Iconic Queer Mastermind, which is so fun because they're going to be using this in a way to really network and grow their businesses. Like, that'll be a wonderful side effect of this, besides just being a complete human, getting to know other humans for more. And in the Confidence Coven, we're taking this a little deeper. And so we just talked about it this week. They have all the info on the challenge. They're going to be listening to this podcast as well to get some more details that I'm going to share with you all right now. And I've got some helpful resources in there, like a little workbook and everything to track your progress with the challenge. So if you want in on that and you want the additional support of the Confidence Coven, please come on in and join us. I would love to have you in there. But you don't need to be in there in order to do this challenge. If you're listening to the podcast, then congratulations, I am your coach. And you get to work with me through here. I just don't know you yet, possibly. And I love that. I love that we get to work together. So hi, you beautiful unicorn. Let's do the work. Let's do this work together now, shall we? Okay, so let's go over the guidelines for the challenge, okay? It's super simple. 3 main guidelines. 1, talk with someone you don't know. 2, find out one thing that's important to them. So go beyond the how are you? And 3, tell them something that's significant to you without disrespecting your boundaries. So, if, like a few weeks ago, I shared on Instagram that I thought that I had contracted an STI. I didn't, but I'm not going to go to a stranger and tell them that story maybe. But I am willing to tell them a story about one of my tattoos and why it's meaningful to me. So respect your boundaries still here. Don't just share a free-for-all and let people have unfettered access to knowing all of your details that you're not yet really comfortable having a one-on-one conversation with someone around, okay? Be respectful of yourself, but also push your boundaries. I promise you are capable of sharing more than you've allowed yourself to in the past. And that's kind of the point of this challenge too, is just seeing that it's actually easier to share of yourself. And I'm telling you what, you are going to experience something that's pure fucking magic when you start sharing more deep information about yourself and then get to witness the reaction from others. You're going to be like, holy shit, why have I not been doing this before? I know why I haven't, because I was scared and it seemed vulnerable. However, wow, I can really be myself. I think a lot of us in the Queer Plus community are used to putting on masks. We grew up most of us, in an environment where it wasn't safe to really be our authentic self. But now you're putting on masks to fit in as an adult as well, and putting on masks within the queer plus spectrum to fit in with those you think you belong with. And so you've been boxing yourself in, many of you, into oh, this is what it means to be gay. This is what it means to be trans. This is what it means to be bi. And I have to kind of perform these ways in order to get acceptance, especially from others in the community. And so what I want you to be able to see through this challenge is that that is not true. That yes, there may be some people that don't care for the real authentic you. But what I have come to realize that is shockingly consistent is that you will find actually way more acceptance than you've been thinking you're going to have. Way more people are actually going to connect deeper with you and appreciate you more. And they are going to feel so loved and seen and cared for around you when you ask them questions that most people never have asked them. And it shows that you care. It's going to be very impressive to them. Okay. So the 3 guidelines, again, talk with someone you don't know, find out something that's important to them, and tell them something that's significant to you. There's a bonus as well. Share this challenge with them. Because that's the point of this work, isn't it? To start a wave in our community of a different way of relating to each other that's deeper than surface level. So share this with them. Get them in on it. You can share this podcast with them so they have all the information. Now, some of you are sticklers for rules. And so I want you to challenge yourself to, you do not have to hit all 3 of those guidelines, or all 4 of them if you include the bonus as a guideline. You don't have to hit all of them for it to count. My challenge to you is to have 30 interactions with another human that hit 1 or more of the guidelines. So maybe it's with someone you know, but not someone that you've really gone deeper with. And so for the first time ever, you actually tell them something that's really significant to you. Or maybe it's someone that's a stranger and you're used to sharing about yourself, but you're not used to hearing something that's significant or important to them. And so your challenge might be to lean more into that, getting to know other people. Or maybe simply you just really have a hard time talking with new people. And so it's not even yet for you about telling them something that's deep about you or finding out something that's deep about them. It's really just challenging yourself to talk with someone brand new. The funny thing is, we all love to talk about ourselves, isn't it? So if you're worried that it's going to be hard to get someone talking about themselves and to tell you something that's more significant or deeper to them, I promise you it's not going to be that hard. It's actually going to be pretty easy. People love sharing about themselves. And I'll give you some tips in a moment on how to make that a little easier. But they love it. And in general, we all love just being recognized. So again, if your challenge is just to speak with someone new, notice how that when you're in a room of people that you don't know, when someone comes and introduces themselves to you or does something to kind of welcome you, you automatically just feel amazing, on top of the world, wonderful. You can now do that same thing for someone else and just trust, yes, it might feel weird for you, but I promise you, it feels amazing for them. We love being recognized. And then if you're like me, you've practiced a lot of getting to know other people on a deeper level. However, letting them get to know you on a deeper level is a bit newer. So maybe for you, the challenge is not really to hold that space for others and getting to know them deeper, but rather to allow yourself to be seen on a deeper level and to share something that's more significant, more vulnerable, more important to you with someone else. So only you know where your work is. Only you know what you want to focus on. And know that it counts if you hit one or more of those 4 guidelines, 3 guidelines plus a bonus. It counts as an interaction, and that the goal is to hit 30 interactions. I would love to see if you can actually do that before the end of June. How amazing would that be? What? That'd be so awesome. But you don't have to. You can, I am calling this a 30-day challenge. It's really a 30 interaction challenge. And you could spread it out. You could do one per day. You could pile them up, do them all on like the weekend, and then like interact with no people during the week. You decide how you want to do this, but the goal is to have 30 interactions that you track within 30 days or less. Okay, cool. Now, if you are struggling with how to start these conversations, I've got some ideas for you. First of all, you can introduce yourself just like, hi, my name is Alex, and then share something, share kind of a vulnerability and ask, an opening for someone. So something that I've been using recently because I just moved to San Diego is, I'm new here. And notice that when you hear that, when someone tells you, oh, I'm new here, you immediately then kind of feel a little bit of an excitement that you have the opportunity to introduce them to new things, to help them. We like to help each other. People like to help you. And so I've been noticing that every time that I introduce myself, hey, I'm Alex, I'm new here, I just moved here a month ago, it immediately opens the door for conversation with people because they want to get to know how they can help me. They will immediately start offering places that I can go and visit. Have you been here? Do you like, what do you like? What's your interests, right? Now the door is open and now we're having a conversation. You could also just share, hey, this is my favorite part of the year. You can make like an observation about the external world. You could make an observation about them. Hey, I haven't seen you here before. Do you come here often? Welcome. Of course, then they'll respond with like, yes, nice to meet you. And you can go into like, what brings you here? Now, already that question is opening up the space for more intimacy. Instead of the typical like, how's your day going? It's, what brings you here? You're going to find out something interesting about them, and then follow the breadcrumbs, follow the little trail with them to find out something more, something that's significant about them. Someone the other day was walking my dog, and I'm not sure, like, he might be homeless, he might not. I'm not really sure. He just kind of hangs out outside a lot around where I live, and super friendly, and like started up a conversation with me. I ended up finding out that he has kids and like that he's working on one of the houses nearby, and it was just interesting, right? Finding out those things, we're going to say that counts. I found out that he has kids, that's important to him, that he loves dogs, that he had dogs with the kids. He's, information about all sorts of interesting stories, right? I just noticed with that interaction that I'm sure walking away from it, he felt similar to how I felt. Connected. Like we mattered. Like we were humans that were more than just a body, just a flesh suit. That we were humans that were more than our socioeconomic status. That we were humans that were more than just happenstance to pass each other by in the street. There was an actual genuine connection about dogs. How cool is that? So I felt seen, and I know that he probably felt similar. Now, some more ideas for you to get to know people. A lot of people got into hobbies over quarantine, right? So you could ask them, like, did you get into new hobbies? Oh my gosh, that's, they're like, oh yeah, I got into plants. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Tell me more about it. This is opening up the conversation for you to get to know them on a more intimate level now. It's beyond that surface. Oh, great, they do plants. But why? Why is that important to them? What do they like about it? Do they have a favorite plant? I don't know. You can also, I love this one. You can tell them, okay, this might sound silly, but I'm doing this queer intimacy challenge that's going around. What's your favorite part about being queer plus? Oh my gosh, that's so interesting, right? You're getting to know something that's actually significant to them. What do they appreciate about it? I would love to hear more people saying what they love about being queer instead of how they feel victimized by being queer. So, such a great way that we can shift the conversation within our community, isn't it? And then how about something like, what's your story? I know some of you are like, I can't ask that of a stranger, but let me tell you what. I had a friend when I was 19. We would go out to the bars. Yes, I was drinking underage. And we would literally sit down next to strangers and we would say, tell me about you. You know, we'd like introduce ourselves, right? And if their name is like Leslie, we're like, okay, who is Leslie? And they're like, what? We're like, yeah, tell me about Leslie. Tell me all about you. And what's your story? How did you end up here tonight on this very fine Friday evening? And at first, people are caught off guard and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they will laugh. But then every time, without fail, they are delighted to share their story. So if you're feeling weird about like, okay, I don't understand how to do this, like seriously, just go there. Go all the way. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just tell me your story. Hi. And if you're nervous, it's so helpful to name that up front. Guaranteed you'll be nervous. I'm nervous. I went the other day, I was at a coffee shop and I was about to go have this conversation because I was listening to this group of people talk, and they were talking about sticking up for yourself and asking for a raise in the workplace and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And this one woman that was leading the conversation was talking about how she had recently become a consultant and was really kind of working with women and racial minorities to stick up for themselves and earn more money. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking cool. I love what they're doing. And I need to just go introduce myself. And so I get up from my table and I was about to walk over and I chickened out and I went to the bathroom and I like had to take a deep breath in there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Right. And I walk out and I'm just king of opening conversations with awkward observations. So I just said, hi, I've been eavesdropping on your conversation the entire time. My name is Alex. Also, I'm new here. I just moved to the area. And we got talking and, you know, I shared, here's what I do. It sounds like you're a consultant. You're helping people stand up for themselves. And I love what you said about mindset and how, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I totally agree with you, blah, blah, blah. Well, now I have these wonderful, beautiful new connections and we are having conversation about collaborating and working together. And it all started from that conversation that, yes, I felt nervous as hell. And so if you need to, go like step into the bathroom, hype yourself up, come back out and just blurt it out. Or you can also just start with, hi, I am so nervous to tell you this, or to, hey, I'm nervous to ask this, but I'm trying this queer intimacy challenge, and or my coach told me I had to do this, or whatever, right? Like, you can introduce this conversation by admitting how you're feeling. And it will have a very surprising effect for you, my friend, where you will actually feel less nervous the moment that you say out loud, I'm feeling nervous. And feel free to like blame it on me and tell them my coach told me. Remember, if you are listening to this podcast, I'm your coach. So you can tell them that. Okay. Now, I do want to have one caveat here. Please do not use this on intoxicated people to trick them into sharing things they don't really want to share about themselves. That is unethical. You do not need to find out people's deepest, darkest fears or their biggest shames. Find the good in people. Use this to find the good in people. Some other fun little tactics to get the conversation going are, you've heard me say it before, wear something interesting so that the other people start the conversation. You know me, I am always dressed, well, not always, most of the time dressed fabulous. And the great side effect of that is people start conversations with me all the time. I rarely have to start the conversation. You can show your needs. Like I said, remember like, hey, I'm new here, or hey, this is my, my first time here, etc. You can make a funny observation about the environment, something around you. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't it funny? Did you notice that the menu had this like really funny misspelling on it? What's that? Honestly, if there was a misspelling on a menu, I probably did it. I'm the queen of misspelling. It's okay. But like I'm just making a goofy observation. Like find something that you can both kind of connect on to strike up the conversation. Oh my gosh, did you see what happened over there across the street? That was so weird. What the hell? I started a conversation with a barista the other day noticing like, wow, I didn't know you gave tutorials here on how to use Apple Pay. She had helped this older man pay for his meal. Well, him and his family, I guess, their meal, which was like almost, what was it, like $40 or $50 at this coffee shop. And so like it took her like 5 minutes to teach him how to use Apple Pay, which held up the whole line. And then he tipped her nothing. So I started the conversation over that kind of like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe he didn't tip you anything. Or first of all, it's so nice that you give tutorials here. Also, what's with no tip for that? And then I left a 50% tip on mine. I was like, I'm going to help make up for that. So just notice there are lots of ways that you can kind of start the conversation about something external. This is going to be easier than you might have been worried about. You can invite people into the conversation with a joke about yourself. Like, that story where I was like, hey, I've been eavesdropping the whole time, right? I'm so nosy. Or you can also compliment a stranger. It feels so good. It feels so good to be complimented by a stranger. I've been noticing that so much as I've been dressing the way that I dress over the last year. The amount of compliments I get from strangers is astronomical. I've never experienced it before. And it feels so delightful. It lights up my day every single time. And so what I've noticed is I'm like, wait a minute. I used to compliment other people all the time. I've been kind of slacking on that. And so I purposely lately have been leaning into complimenting strangers, and I encourage you to do the same thing. You can start a conversation as easy as, oh my gosh, I love your bag. That is so gorgeous. Or again, I did this the other day. I was at a bar, noticed that this guy's hair was just luscious and long and curly and amazing. And like, I just wanted to run my fingers through it, but I didn't. All right. So I noticed it. I left the bar and then I was like, I'm walking, like, I don't know, 10 steps outside the door. And I was like, oh my God, no. Turn around, go back, and tell him. So I did. I turned around, I walked back in, I walked up to him, and I was like, hi, I know this is weird. I just have to tell you, you have incredible hair. That's it. Have an amazing night. And I know that made his night. His face lit up and everything, and his friends and all were like, oh my gosh, right? So great. So you can start a conversation as easy as just giving a compliment. Now, all right, so to cap it off, just a reminder, the 3 guidelines plus the bonus. The 3 guidelines are talk with someone you don't know, find out one thing that's important to them, go beyond the how are you, and 3, tell them something that's significant to you without disrespecting your boundaries. Bonus if you share the challenge with them. And that's as easy as just telling them about this podcast episode. Now, only you know what your biggest work is. And so I challenge you to lean into whatever area of those guidelines is going, those 3 guidelines, whichever one you feel that you are weaker in and could lean into and strengthen this month, go with that one. Okay. And focus on that. It's okay to do all of them, but focus on that one being the primary focus for the 30 interactions. And if you are having trouble sharing about yourself, overshare. Permission granted. If you've always been worried about oversharing, this is the time to do it. Overshare. It's going to be totally fine. Promise. I promise. They're going to talk about this interaction and how amazing it was. They're going to share it with their friends, how amazing it was to be recognized by someone they didn't know and treated like a full human. That's it. All right. Final thing for you. Please share this on Instagram. #QueerIntimacyChallenge. And tag me, Coach Alex Ray, if you're sharing anywhere, stories, posts, whatever, tag me so that I can see it because I really want to celebrate with you. Remember, I really think of you, my unicorn, as my client. We are working together. You're doing the damn thing. You are growing your confidence. What you're going to realize through this challenge is that you are much more capable of facilitating conversations that are uncomfortable, that scare you. So that's going to be an amazing realization. And 2, you are going to feel more confident by being appreciated for who you are, by being recognized and treated as a human for who you are, not for what you do or for some show. This is going to boost your confidence. It's going to boost other people's confidence. It's going to really start a wave of a new just reality for our community. So please share it to social media, tell other people about the challenge, get them in on this. Let's all be making the queer community a space where we are known for actually not only having fun and being partiers, etc., but also for loving each other, recognizing each other, seeing each other, and allowing ourselves to be seen on a deeper, more significant level. I really think if any community on the planet has the opportunity to do this well, it's the queer community, because we are beyond the social norms. We are being our full fucking authentic selves. All right. So that is why I want you to share it on social media and to tag me so I can celebrate with you, because this is a big fucking deal. This is not just a cute little fun thing. It is super fun, but it is a big fucking deal. And I am so, so proud of every single one of you that partakes in this. So I will see you on Instagram. Until the next episode, my friend, have a wonderful, wonderful week and enjoy the challenge. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to CoachAlexRay.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.